Welcome back to Talk Tensors, where we like to dig into the latest in machine learning research. Today, we're diving into something that's always kind of fascinated me. How to make AI a storyteller.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the paper we're looking at today is Multigenre AI-powered story composition. And it's quite an ambitious title, but it really dives into this idea of not just can AI write a story, can AI write a story that fits into a certain genre? So not just, writing sentences, but actually capturing the essence of like a thriller or a romance or something like that.
That's right. Yeah. Capturing that thematic consistency throughout the whole piece.
Yeah. So walk us through how they approach this. Like, what was their methodology?
Well, they started with narrowing it down to 5 fundamental genres.
Okay.
Comedy, romance, tragedy, satire, and mystery.
And why those 5?
Well, they're drawing on previous work by Maria Laura Ryan and Northrop Frye, and their theories led them to these 5 as sort of representing this broad spectrum of like human experience and storytelling. And interestingly, they even connect it back to Frye's seasonal archetypes. So suggesting that these patterns, they might go beyond just storytelling. They might, reflect something deeper
Oh, that's cool.
about how we understand the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they start with those 5 genres.
Okay. So how do they teach an AI about genre? Like, how do you even begin to approach that?
Yeah, well, it's a 2-phase process. So first they had to show the AI what each genre looks like in practice, right?
Yep.
So they actually use ChatGPT to identify 3 books or movies that fit the definition of each genre.
So they're showing it examples.
Exactly. They're showing it these classic examples. So for instance, with romance, ChatGPT chose the Odyssey, the Lord of the Rings, and the Iliad.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see how those stories fit that mold of like a classic romance in the broader sense. It's not just a love story.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's like this epic adventure, journey of self-discovery, facing trials and tribulations.
Okay. So they show it examples, but then how do they go from example to actually creating something new?
Well, that takes us to phase 2, where they use their prototype. It's called Pattern Teller.
Okay.
And Pattern Teller uses this technique called most specific generalization to analyze the example stories.
Okay.
It's like identifying the common elements, the recurring patterns.
Like finding the recipe.
Yeah, finding that recipe for the genre, exactly.
Yeah.
And so what they end up with is these detailed patterns for each genre.
Okay.
They outline the typical stages of a story,
Like the hero's journey sort of thing?
Yeah, like the call to adventure and the climax and the resolution.
Yeah.
And then they describe what typically happens in those stages for that specific genre.
Okay. So then the question is, did it work?
Right. Well, that's what they wanted to test, right? So they gave Pattern Teller the same basic story premise, and then they had it write 5 different versions, each one following the pattern for a different genre. And, well, the results are pretty remarkable. They ended up with these 5 distinct stories, each one adhering to its designated genre.
Okay. So give us an example. What was the initial premise, and then how did it play out?
Okay. So the premise is a young sorceress named Era,
Okay.
who is training under Merlin amidst a magical war.
Okay. Very fantasy.
Yeah. So, think Arthurian legends meets that Merlin TV show or something like that. And then so they take that and they play it out 5 different ways.
Okay, yeah. So give us some highlights.
Okay, so for the comedy, they titled it Merlin's Mirthful Menagerie. And so it's Era navigating all these hilarious mishaps and political intrigue with all these quirky characters. It's like a Shakespearean comedy, but with magic.
Right. Okay. What about romance?
Okay, the romance. That one's called Ara's Elixir, A Twist of Destiny. So it's more of an epic,
Okay.
Era confronts this dark force, ultimately becomes this respected bridge between the magical and ordinary worlds.
Yeah.
You've got all the classic elements, the trials, the triumphs, the destiny unfolding.
So you're saying they were able to create different stories with different feels based on the same premise just by changing the genre?
Exactly. And they also did a mystery.
Oh, okay. What was that one?
That one's called The Shattered Star, Merlin's Apprentice. So in this one, Era's got to solve a conspiracy and restore balance to Avalon.
Yeah.
You can imagine all the clues and the red herrings and twists and turns.
Yeah. So this is really interesting because it shows how you can take the same basic idea, but it can be transformed depending on the genre.
That's right.
Right. And so I'm already thinking about all the possibilities this opens up, right? What if you could take an existing story and then see it through the lens of different genres,
Exactly.
right? Or like, what if you could train AI to come up with entirely new genres, right? Like
Yeah.
break the mold of what we even think of as storytelling.
That's what we'll be digging into next.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
We'll be talking about the broader implications of this research and some novel notions it's inspired for the future of storytelling.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to take a really quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll be exploring the potential impact of this research and delve into some exciting possibilities that go way beyond just writing better fantasy stories. Stay tuned.
All right.
All right.
Welcome back to Talk Tensors. Before the break, we were talking about how this research team essentially taught AI to become a genre-savvy storyteller. But this goes way beyond just creating fun fantasy stories.
Okay, yeah. Like, where do we go from here? What are the implications?
Well, one thing that really excites me is the potential for this type of research to change how writers approach genre. Imagine, like, AI tools that could help writers brainstorm plot ideas, identify the key elements of their chosen genre,
Oh.
or even get feedback on how well their story adheres to genre conventions.
It's almost like having an AI writing partner, right?
Exactly. Someone who's like a master of genre, Someone you can bounce ideas off of,
Right, right.
help you refine your story.
And not only that, right,
Yeah.
but like, imagine the impact this could have on like the entertainment industry as a whole, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Imagine studios using these tools to like tailor stories to specific demographics.
Yeah.
Predict which genres will resonate with audiences.
Right. Or even create entirely new hybrid genres that blend elements of existing ones.
Oh, whoa, hold on. AI-powered genre mashups.
Right.
That's a whole other level.
It's like opening up this universe of storytelling possibilities.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about like the practical, like how it can help writers, how it can help, studios and things like that. But I'm also curious about like the more philosophical implications,
Yeah.
right? Like what does it mean for a machine to understand genre, right? Like does it challenge our ideas about creativity?
Right. Does it make us like question what it means to be human?
Right.
Because if a machine can learn the rules of storytelling, the patterns that like evoke specific emotions, create a sense of wonder,
Right.
what does that say about the nature of creativity itself?
Yeah. It's really interesting to think about.
Yeah.
And that leads us perfectly to our novel notions segment, where we kind of explore some potential research directions
Okay.
inspired by this paper.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. So what's the first novel notion that's been brewing in your mind?
Okay, so what if we could push beyond just mimicking existing genres and actually train AI to invent completely new ones?
Okay. Wait. You're talking about like AI becoming like a genre pioneer,
Yeah.
right? Creating stories that like defy categorization.
Exactly, like narratives that break all the rules, stories that are so unique
yeah.
and innovative that we wouldn't even recognize them as
Yeah.
belonging to any existing genre.
Okay, so then what would those stories even look like, right? Like how would they make us feel? Would they still resonate with us on an emotional level?
That's the exciting part. We don't know.
Right.
It's uncharted territory.
Right.
It would be like discovering a new color,
Yeah.
a new sound, a new dimension of human experience.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
already imagining like all the debates and discussions that would come out of that, right?
Mhm.
Like what is this? Is this art? Is this not art?
Right, exactly.
It would totally revolutionize the world of storytelling.
It makes you wonder if we've even begun to scratch the surface of what storytelling can be.
Right.
Maybe AI can help us unlock that hidden potential, explore narrative forms that we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Okay, I am hooked.
Yeah.
What other novel notions have you got?
All right. This one's a bit more grounded, but still really fascinating. So remember how the researchers use specific examples
Yes.
of stories to teach the AI about genre?
The Odyssey and all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what if we took that idea a step further and use this research to develop AI tools that could help us analyze the underlying structures of all narratives, even the ones that don't fit neatly into genre categories?
So we're talking about like uncovering the universal building blocks of storytelling.
Right.
The patterns that make a story compelling regardless of genre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it. We've been telling stories for millennia.
Right.
It's something that seems to be like ingrained in our DNA,
Yeah.
but we still don't fully understand what makes a story work.
Right.
What makes it resonate with audiences across cultures and time periods.
It's like we have this intuitive sense,
Right.
but we haven't been able to like articulate it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where AI could come in, right? By analyzing vast amounts of data
Right.
from ancient myths to modern novels,
Yeah.
AI could help us identify the hidden patterns and structures that make stories so captivating.
It's like having a universal translator for storytelling.
Right.
Yeah.
Allowing us to understand the language of narrative in a whole new way.
And not just for writers, right?
Yeah.
Like this could be helpful for like historians,
Right.
psychologists, marketers, anyone who wants to understand like the power of stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be a game changer for anyone who wants to harness the power of narrative to inform, persuade, or simply entertain.
Yeah. Okay. This is really cool.
Yeah.
What else have you got?
And that brings me to another fascinating possibility.
Okay.
What if we could use these AI-powered insights into narrative structure to create entirely new forms of interactive storytelling?
Ooh. Okay. So like stories that adapt to the reader or viewer.
Right.
Stories that are shaped by their choices and emotions.
Exactly.
Okay. So like taking choose your own adventure to a whole new level.
Right. Imagine stories that are like personalized journeys where the AI acts as a guide,
Yeah.
shaping the narrative path based on your unique preferences and responses.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I could see applications in like gaming, in education, even in therapy, right? Like
Yeah,
the possibilities are really endless.
it's true. And that's what makes this research so exciting. It's not just about teaching AI to write stories. It's about opening up this whole new world of possibilities for how we create
Right.
experience and understand narratives.
Yeah. Okay, I'm completely with you on that, but before we get too carried away with all these amazing, novel notions,
Right.
I think we need to like take a step back and acknowledge like the challenges
Absolutely.
and potential pitfalls.
It's crucial to approach this with a critical eye.
Right.
Consider the ethical implications and make sure we're using this technology responsibly.
So let's shift gears a little bit. What are some things we need to be mindful of as we go down this road of AI-powered storytelling? Welcome back to Talk Tensors. Before the break, we were talking about all the cool things that AI could do with storytelling, but I think it's really important to talk about, what could go wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. It's crucial to approach this with, like, a critical eye and consider the ethical implications.
Right. So what are some things that like keep you up at night when you think about, AI and storytelling?
Well, one concern that often comes up is bias, right? Because AI systems, they learn from the data they're trained on.
Yeah.
And so if that data reflects, existing societal biases,
Right.
those biases can get baked into the AI's output.
Right. And we've seen this happen in other areas of AI already, right?
Exactly.
Like we've seen, bias algorithms perpetuate harmful stereotypes.
Yep.
And we definitely don't want that happening in storytelling.
Right. Imagine an AI trained on a data set of like primarily Western fantasy novels, right?
Yep.
It might struggle to generate stories that authentically represent other cultures or storytelling traditions.
That's a great point.
So it's really crucial that we're mindful of the data we use to train these systems.
Right. Yeah.
And that we work actively to mitigate bias.
Yeah. And I think, beyond bias, another concern is the potential for AI to be used to manipulate or deceive.
Right.
Right. Like stories have this incredible power to shape our beliefs and emotions.
Absolutely.
Right. And so what happens when that power is wielded by machines?
Right.
Right.
Imagine AI-generated news articles or
Okay.
social media posts designed to spread misinformation or propaganda.
Or even like marketing campaigns
Yeah, exactly.
that are specifically designed to like,
Yeah, that use sophisticated storytelling techniques to exploit our vulnerabilities.
right. So it sounds like we really need to be thinking about not just like the technical side of AI storytelling,
Yeah.
but also the ethical and societal implications.
Right.
It's not just about creating AI that write a good story. It's about making sure it's being used for good,
Yeah,
not for harm.
I completely agree. We need to approach this with a sense of responsibility, understanding the potential risks as well as the potential benefits.
Yeah, for sure. So as we kind of move forward in this new era of AI-powered storytelling, what are like some key principles that we should keep in mind?
Well, I think transparency is crucial, right? Yeah.
We need to be clear about when and how AI is being used in storytelling,
Right.
and make sure that audiences are aware that they might be interacting with AI-generated content.
Right. No sneaky AI ghostwriters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And alongside transparency, we need accountability.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like who is responsible when AI-generated content causes harm,
Yeah.
who do we hold accountable for biased or misleading narratives?
Yeah. These are really big questions.
These are big questions that we need to grapple.
Yes. It sounds like this is going to be a collaborative effort.
Absolutely.
Right. We need technologists, ethicists, policymakers, and storytellers.
All working together.
Right. All working together to make sure that this is done responsibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your insights. So this has been a fascinating conversation.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. And listeners, don't forget to check out the link to the full paper in the show notes if you want to learn more about this research.
Yes, definitely check that out. And until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
Keep thinking. Bye. Bye.